وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. And whoever he leads astray, then those are the ones that are the ultimate losers. The heart of this khutbah really is this warning against ghaflah. And the last ayah I want to share with you in this context is probably the most important in this passage on this subject. Allah Azza wa Jal speaks of people that He has created and He has spread around the earth for hell, for Jahannam. He says, وَلَقَدْ ذَرَأْنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. We have created and spread about the earth multitudes, huge volumes of people out of the jinn and the human being, مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. And then He says, why? Why are these people going to hell? You know, if you read the first part of the ayah, you would think Allah made them so they can go to hell. No, no, no. They did something that made them bound towards the hellfire. There's something wrong with them. And He says about them, لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. They have hearts, but they don't understand anything with them. This ayah in and of itself is a puzzle. In and of itself. Because Allah says in Quran, عَقْل يَعْقِلُونَ. They have intellects, but they don't understand with them. That's not what He said. What did He say? لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ. They have hearts, but they don't understand with them. You know the difference between a person who thinks just with their mind and a person who thinks with the mind but has a clean heart is very different. They see two different things. So what is this person who has a heart but can't think with it? It is a person in whose heart there is no remembrance of Allah, there is only ghaflah. They can't see what the believer sees. Now the kafir is very intelligent. He also has aql, right? You will have people that are professors and PhDs and intellectuals that are disbelievers. And you will have Muslims that are intellectuals also. So aql is not the problem. But they're not, the thinking, the thought is composed of two things. It composes what you have in your mind and what you have inside your heart. And just to illustrate this with a simple example before I conclude. You know, you have students, young kids, they see their friends smoking outside school. And they want to smoke with them. They go to health class and they go to bio class and they learn smoking destroys your lungs. When they buy the pack from the store, on the side, what does it say? Surgeon General's warning. It's bad for it might lead to cancer. Is there anything missing in their knowledge? Is there anything missing here that this is bad? No. But there's a desire to want to be like your friends. There's a desire to look cool. And where do desires rest? In their hearts. So they have intellect, but what's the problem? The problem isn't here. The problem is in the heart. It's the desire. So Allah speaks about this and says, لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. But then He gives us another puzzle. لَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا. They have eyes, but they don't see with them. Now what does this mean? They have eyes, but they don't see? You see, if we become a people that hold on to this book with great strength, like Bani Israel was told, خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ بِقُوَّةٍ. If we become like that, then when we see the world outside, and when we see the creation of Allah, and we see our own life, we see it through the lens of the ayat of Allah. It's like you're wearing these shades, and everything you see is filtered or tinted in the shades of Qur'an. And so, just to give you an illustration of that, Allah Azza wa Jal says, إِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّنَ الْبَعْثِ. If you're confused, if you're in any doubt about being raised again, Allah tells us, if you are in doubt about being raised again, then reflect or think about the earth. And He says, اهتزت وربت وأنبتت من كل زوج بهيج. The earth, it shakes, it rises a little bit, and it sprouts a plant from all sorts of plants, right? The earth shakes. When you see a plant come out, you'll see little tiny pieces of soil move a little bit, little tiny shake. And then the earth will come up just a little bit. And then a tiny little blade of grass or a plant will come out. Okay? So Allah draws this image for us in the Qur'an, and He says, if you're confused or you're in doubt about being raised again, think about a plant. When the earth shakes and it rises and a plant comes out. Because on the Day of Judgment, the earth will shake. And on the Day of Judgment, the earth will rise. And then on the Day of Judgment, instead of a plant coming out, we're going to come out. So every time a believer looks at a plant and a tree and a blade of grass outside, what are they reminded of? They're reminded of the day of resurrection. They have eyes with which they can see. But then there are people who don't have those eyes. So Allah says about them, لَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا. They have eyes, but they don't see with them. They can't see with them. And then similarly he says, وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ. They have ears. لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا. They don't hear from them. They hear somebody talking about the deen, even from a distance, they get annoyed. I don't want to be part of this conversation. Turn that stuff off. You know, put a song on or something. They have ears, but they can't tolerate hearing something that will soften their heart. This is a sad state for a human being. And after this, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ. And this is what I will conclude with. These people are like cattle. These people are like cattle. Allah didn't say these people are like animals. Dabba, right? Or ad-dawab, or hayawan. He said, al-an'am. Why? Because al-an'am are domesticated animals. Animals that human beings trained to not be wild anymore, right? And if you compare, cattle or domesticated farm animals to any other kind of animal, you will notice one big difference. Domesticated animals have slower senses. You know, a lizard or a rabbit or a bird, they're always looking around. They're very aware. Compare that with a cow. It's very unaware. What is the passage about? The Ghafil. So he says about these people, they've turned into cattle. They just eat and they sleep. For the younger kids here, they eat and they sleep and they play Xbox and they watch some stuff on YouTube and they go to sleep. That's life. That's it. There's no more to it than that. And then he says, بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلْ. No, they're even worse off. They're even worse off. Why? Because the cattle is still a creation in fitrah. It still obeys Allah Azza wa Jal. Even though it's got dulled senses, it's still in obedience to Allah. It still eats what Allah commanded it to eat. It still goes where Allah commands it to go. But these people, not only do they have dulled senses, which makes them ghafil, they're in disobedience to Allah. And Allah ends, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. Those are the people that are ghafil. They are the people that are unaware and heedless. So we have to take this prescription seriously. The recitation of Qur'an, the listening to dars of Qur'an. You know, if you can find MP3s or CDs or lectures from anybody that gives talks in tafsir of Qur'an, right, that you can just get, make it a habit of listening to. This was actually a legacy of the Sahaba. Umar radiallahu anhu used to go around different circles and check if there are durus of Qur'an going on among the Sahaba. Because this is a means by which Sahaba stay awake. This is a means by which they don't let ghafla sink in. So you will notice in yourself, the longer it's been since you read Qur'an and reflected on Qur'an or learned something about the Qur'an, the worse off you will feel inside your heart. You can notice in it this existence of ghafla. You can identify it for yourself and I can for myself. So we need to go back like oxygen to this book. And this month is Allah's great gift to us to turn that into a habit. Because Allah says, فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. When you're about to recite Qur'an, what should you do? You should seek Allah's refuge from the shaitan. In this month, Allah has given us the blessing of caging up the shaitan. So we can have an uninterrupted relationship with Qur'an and build that habit. So that when this month is over, we're already in this cycle. That we remain awake. And we don't wait till the next Ramadan to wake up again. And with this, inshallah ta'ala, I conclude. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim. Wa nafa'ni wa iyyakum bil ayat wa dhikr al-Hakim.